All right, so in this video, we are focusing on two-step equations. I guess actually some of them might be multi-step, but two-step equations. So, equations, equa, literally has the word equal in it if we had an L there. So it has the equal sign. An equation is two expressions separated by an equal sign. So, in two-step equations, we have variables, okay? We have an n in this equation. And the goal of solving equations is solving for that variable. What number does this represent? So, this equation is 7 times n minus 4 equals 31. So, 7 times some number minus 4 equals 31. So, if you in my class, then we're pretty good at two-step equations and one-step equations. We know the steps. Step 1, lock up the variable. So let's review it, or if you didn't have me, then I'm going to show you how I teach two-step equations. So step 1, lock up the variable. Lock it up. Box it up. We can't touch it, okay? Literally put it in a box with a key on top or a lock. All right, step 2. Draw a line. So we're going to draw the line down the equal sign. It separates our two expressions. And then step 3. What color? What color? Green. Combine like terms. So this is why we're focusing so much on making sure we understand what like terms are and how to combine them. Step 3, we combine like terms. So if we look at this, 7n has a variable attached, but negative 4 and 31, neither one has a variable. They're both whole numbers. Okay, so those are our like terms. So how are we going to get this negative 4 over to the right? Well, you do the opposite. Okay, so how do you get negative 4 to cancel out, to go away? You do the opposite. You add 4. Negative 4 plus 4, that's 0. It cancels out. Now, you can't just be like, screw you, get rid of you. What you do to one side, you have to do to the other side. Okay, it's got to be balanced out. So then you bring down the 7n, because we still have that on the left side. You relock it up. Bring down the equal sign. And now you do 31 plus 4 is 35. Let me see if turning on this light helps, because we got some wicked shadows. All right, so that was our first step. Add 4 to both sides. So now we have our second step in the two-step equations. So 7n equals 35. That means 7 times some number equals 35. 7 times what number is 35? 5. But how do you prove it? How do you check it? You have to undo this. So the 7 and the n are touching. They're married. You have to break up that marriage. Break up the multiplication with division. Divide both sides by 7. 7 divided by 7 is 1. So we just bring down the n. Remember, there's an invisible 1 in front of that n. We're lazy. We don't write it. So it's just n. 35 divided by 7, 5. And that is your solution. Once you have the variable by itself, you're done. Now, I do know if you had Mr. Hill or me, you know the commercial. Plug it in, plug it in. So you can plug in the 5 back for n into the variable to check. 7 times n, so 7 times 5. So 35 minus 4 equals 31. Yes. So that's how you can know it's correct. All right, so let's do another problem just like this. A little bit more difficult. It's going to have some decimals, but you know what? That's not scary. It really isn't. So 0.3 equals 0.5 f minus 0.7. Okay, so write it down and then try to follow the steps. And it doesn't matter that they put just the number on this side and then the longer expression on the right. It's the same thing. Step 1, lock up the variable. Can't touch this. So we're not going to touch this. We lock up the variable and that immediately tells us, okay, this has a variable attached. These don't, so these are our like terms. Step 2, draw the line down that equal sign to separate the two expressions. Step 3, combine like terms. So we want to get the variable with the coefficient. We need to get this by itself. So we need to get this negative or minus 0.7 away from the f. That f is in jail. We need to get it away from the variable. So how are we going to move this minus 0.7 to the left side? Well, you do the opposite. It's minusing, so we're going to plus 0.7 to both sides. Okay, so 0.3 plus 0.7, bring down the decimal, 7 plus 3 is 10, bring down the 0, put down the 0, carry the 1, 1 plus 0 is 1. So 1.0, which is the same as 1, equals 0.5f, lock it up, and now negative 0.7 plus 0.7 cancels out. It leaves us with 0. So we're left with 1 equals 0.5f. So how are we going to get that f by itself? Well, right now it's being multiplied, so you have to undo it with division. Divide both sides by the coefficient. Divide by 0.5. Now, why do we divide by the coefficient? Why do we divide by the number in front of the variable? Think about it. Do you know why? Well, that's how we get the variable by itself. 0.5 divided by 0.5. Any number divided by itself is 1. We're lazy. We don't write the 1, so we're just left with the f. That's why you divide by the coefficient, because it cancels out. 1 divided by 0.5, you can do it in your calculator, but if you break 1 in half, so 1 divided by 0.5, 2 halves, so 2. Okay, problem 3. So k fourths plus 3 equals 14. Now, a lot of students struggle or get scared when they see a fraction. But there's no need to, because the steps are the same, and a fraction is just division. That's k divided by 4. So first you lock up the variable, then you draw the line. And then you combine like terms. So this term still has the variable, so that's not the like term. The 3 and the 14 are like terms because neither number has a variable attached. So how are we going to get rid of this positive 3? How are we going to move this positive 3 to the right side? You do the opposite, so minus 3 from both sides. 3 minus 3 cancels out. It leaves us with k over 4. (14 minus 3, 11. So what do we do now? So what this means is k, some number divided by 4 equals 11. What number, when you divide it by 4, equals 11? Well, how do you figure that out? You undo the division. So times both sides by 4. 4 and the 4 cancel out because this 4 is over an invisible 1, okay? So that's in the numerator, that's in the denominator. And we know that this division bar means divide. So 4 divided by 4 is 1, so it cancels out. It just leaves us with the k. 11 times 4 is 44. So when you see a fraction, to undo the division, you have to multiply. So let's try another one like that so you guys can get some more practice. Do I want to bring it over here or do I want to flip it over? I'll bring it over here. So number 4. Let's do m over 9. So m divided by 9 plus 2/3 equals 7/3. So pause the video and try to solve this one on your own. Pause the video and try this one on your own. Step 1, lock up the variable. So that's not going to be a like term because there's no other m's. So that's on its own, bud. Sorry. Step 2, draw that line. That just helps you organize and separate the equation into 2 expressions. So what are our like terms? Well, the 2/3 and the 7/3, neither one has a variable. So those are our like terms. So how do we get this 2/3 over there? You undo it. You undo the plus. You subtract. Minus 2/3 from both sides. So bring down, well, first, 2/3 minus 2/3, bye-bye, adios. So we're left with m over n. M over n on the left side. Let's relock that up. We have our equal sign. 7/3 minus 2/3. You can do it in your calculator, but we know when we're subtracting fractions and they have the same denominator, they're both broken into thirds already, you just keep the denominator and subtract the numerator, subtract the top. 7/3 minus 2/3, well, 7 minus 2 is 5. So 7/3 minus 2/3 is 5/3. Okay, so now what are we going to do? How are we going to get that m by itself? Well, that m is being divided by 9, so how are we going to undo that division? How do you undo division? What's the opposite of division? Multiplication. So multiply by 9, multiply by 9. Okay? That 9 in the numerator and 9 in the denominator cancel out. That just leaves us with an m. 5/3 times 9. We know that 9 is over an invisible 1. So you can type it in your calculator, but you don't need it. 5 times 9 is 45 over 3 times 1 is 3. So m equals 45 over 3. What's 45 divided by 3? How many times does 3 go into 4? 1, with 1 left over. How many times does 3 go into 15? 5. So m equals 15. I just did long division. That's what I was doing. 3 goes into 4 one time, with 1 left over. 3 goes into 15 5 times. So what the most important thing is so far, I guess, other than the steps, is really knowing that the fraction bar means division. So negative 9 plus c divided by 14 equals negative 2. So pause the video and try to solve this one. I really don't like how bright it looks. I don't know why it looks so bright. I'm going to turn off one of these lights. Does that help? Nope. Okay, so, maybe that one. So first we need to lock up the variable. But this looks different because this whole thing, negative 9 plus c, the whole thing is being divided by 14. That's okay. Draw the line. So if this whole thing is being divided by 14, you can't just add the 9 when it's part of a fraction. First, you have to break up this fraction. Get rid of that division of 14. Well, the opposite of dividing by 14 is timesing by 14. So we're going to times by 14 and times by 14. Now, when you multiply by 14 in the top, it cancels out with the denominator. And it just leaves you with that numerator, with that negative 9 plus c. Negative 2 times 14, well, a negative times a positive is a negative. 2 times 14 is 28. So now it's friendly. We just got rid of the denominator, that 14, and now it's just a one-step equation. So how are we going to get this negative 9 over there? How are we going to get c by itself? Combine the like terms. Add 9 to both sides. Negative 9 plus 9 cancels out. It leaves us with the c by itself. Negative 28 plus 9, negative 19. And you guys can always check in your calculator. It doesn't hurt. So the last type of problem I want to go over before we wrap up this video is when they have, what's it called? Oh my goodness, distribution. Okay, problem 6. So we're going to do 2 more. I'm going to show you one and then you're going to try one and then we're going to be done. So 9 parenthesis p minus 4 equals negative 18. So there's 2 different ways that you, oh my goodness. There's 2 different ways that you actually can do this. I shouldn't have written on this because this is the notes from yesterday. Yeah, we're not going to do it here. Sorry guys, I'm a mess tonight. We're going to do it on this other page because I'm getting distracted by that writing. So we're going to do 9 times p minus 4 equals negative 18. Okay, so one way that you can do it, and this is how I see it. I see it as, well, let's draw that line and let's lock up that variable. So how I see this is I see this as 9 times this whole quantity, p minus 4, equals negative 18. So right off the bat, I just want to divide by 9. Because I know that'll cancel out this 9 up front. 9 divided by 9 is 1. So that just leaves me now with p minus 4. But if I divide one side by 9, I have to divide the other side by 9. Negative 18 divided by 9 is negative 2. And now it's just a one-step equation. That's why I like to just right off the bat, when there's a distribution, just divide. So that'll leave me with p minus 4 equals negative 2. So combine like terms. I was going to say combine like fours. Combine like terms. So add 4 to both sides. Negative 4 plus 4, bye-bye. That just leaves us with p. Negative 2 plus 4. So I'm 2 feet below ground and I climb up 4 feet. I want to be 2 feet above ground, positive 2. Now, if this way just does not make sense to you, that's perfectly fine. The other way you can do it is just distribute. Distribute that 9 throughout, which is what we were practicing in earlier videos. Rainbow it, multiply it throughout. So 9 times p is 9p. 9 times negative 4, negative 36. Okay, and now it's just a two-step equation. Lock up the variable, draw the line, combine like terms. Add 36 to both sides. Negative 36 plus 36 goes away. So we're just left with the 9p on the left side. Negative 18 plus 36, I believe, is 18. I'm going to check it in my calculator because that'd be embarrassing if I was wrong. 18. Nine times what number equals 18? What should be 2? Divide by 9 because it's being multiplied. Divide by 9. That leaves us with p equals 2. And remember, you can always plug it back in and check. 9 times p minus 4, so 9 times 2 minus 4. What's 2 minus 4? Because we have to do parentheses first. 2 minus 4 is negative 2. Negative 2 times 9 is negative 18. Awesome. So the last one, number 7, it's going to be just the same, and you can solve it either way. Okay, so you can divide both sides by 15 first, or you can distribute it throughout. I think the division way might actually be a little bit more advanced. So let's do the distribution way, just to keep it straightforward. Step 1, lock up the variable. Step 2, draw the line. So this 15 is being multiplied. It's being distributed by both terms in the parentheses. It's being multiplied by both terms. So bring down the 12 and the equal sign. 15 times z. That's easy. That's 15z. 15 times a negative 1/5. So 15, I'm just going to bring down the negative because I know it's going to be negative, times 1/5. Well, that 15 is over an invisible 1. 15 times 1 is 15. 1 times 5 is 5. 15 divided by 5 is 3. Now it's just a two-step equation. Step 1, lock up the variable. Step 2, draw the line. Now we need to combine like terms. Well, this 15z is a variable, so that's not a like term, but these two are. So this negative 3, to get it over there, you do the opposite. Add 3 to both sides. 12 plus 3 is 15, equals, bring down the 15z, negative 3 plus 3, cancels out. So 15 equals 15 times z. They're touching, they're married, they're being multiplied. We have to divide both sides by the 15, by the coefficient. 15 divided by 15, 1, just leaves us with z. We're lazy, we don't write the 1. 15 divided by 15, 1.